Guo Jijiang, you have to avoid it. But Guo Jijiang was very dissatisfied. After all, he is also the right-hand man of Emperor Wu. What can't you hear? The uncle still patiently explained. This guy's house is a bit complicated. I'm afraid it's inconvenient to let others know. Just understand. And Guo Jijiang saw this and did not choose to insist. But this surprised the uncle. I didn't expect the other party to become so obedient. Then Guo Zi will leave. The uncle began to tell everything. In the beginning, he didn't know where to begin. Until I thought about it. He decided to start with the establishment of Kia Ju. But this made Emperor Martial Emperor feel very different. Asked the other party if they are referring to Kiwu Group. And he didn't deny it. It is the Kiwu Group you are familiar with. Since it has developed around Asian, they're already in the middleman business. But at first, Kiwu is not that kind of large enterprise. His predecessor, the violent organization your father and I founded. As for the name, Kia Ju, it doesn't make much sense. It is to take the word autumn, learned by your father, Huang Kia, and my Lu Juhan's oranges. Although the origin of the name is very simple, but we got along pretty well. There is also a little brother of Chonlai, except it's all your father's fault. Because the guy standing in front of Kia Ju, it was almost shattered by Huang Qiu's fist. And my role, just grasp the direction of Kia Ju. If you have to define, probably the role of staff. With our collaboration, Kia Ju's power is gradually growing, and swallowed up other violent organizations. Decades later, Kiwu, violent organization with only 2 startup members, unconsciously, owned the title of Kiwu Group. And that's when the problem started. After all, the operation, enterprise, it doesn't work by relying on the force learned by Huang Kia, which leads to his tactical mind. Difficult to solve easily. Finally, the only way he could think of, it is to form the Kiwu Preparatory Group. The gist of this plan, it is cultivation that can help Huang Kia Zhu and I lead the elite of Kia Ju, because I felt at the time, unlike me, who climbed up from the bottom. When everything is ready, cultivated talents, it will definitely solve the various problems of Kia Ju. And the first target of this plan, it's my son. Children go into battle. So I started when he went to middle school. I started training him. The educational content, it all revolves around the autumn chrysanthemum. Like operations, the methods of organization, and the skills of ravaging the enemy. The end result is also very successful. This kid hasn't grown up yet. It improved many of Kia Ju's problems. But when everything is going well, but something big happened. That is Emperor Huang Wu, you were born. And I was very excited. Because Kia Ju's successor has finally arrived. And you look exactly like Kia Zhu. But I was so excited. I missed a monster. The sound that starts to move. From the day Emperor Huang Wu was born. A monster named Desire. It was born in the heart of Lu Shangzhen. He began to show his fangs. In order to build its own power within Kia Ju. He alone has brought in many geniuses. Over the course of several years, Huang Qiux soon had a second child. And Lu Shangzhen also sat on it, the position of Kiwei 3 Hands, already qualified to participate in the regular council. And he wasn't satisfied. Instead, think about how to usurp the throne. So he set the date for today. Not long after, there is a group. The man in black with the kitchen knife came to his office. Only at this moment did his face become ferocious. But he just said lightly, "Let's go." When Lu Zhuhan saw the scene, cold sweat on forehead, he looked panicked. Because of him at that time, didn't think of it at all. My own son would do such a thing. Regarding Lu Zhuhan's questioning. And he was so calm, so surprised. "Father, didn't you teach me to appear in Kiwu? Then I will get rid of the eagle with my fist in the past for this." Just mixed into the lungs of the Li title. This should be considered for the sake of Kia Ju. And Huang Qiux also understood what he meant. So I took a few steps forward. Come to confront him in front of Shang Zhen. Anyway, draw a knife in front of your father. It's a little bit unfilial. Lu Juhan probably didn't educate you like this, did he? But he still doesn't change his face. Instead, let Qia Zushu understand. Because these men of mine, no one can deal with you with their bare hands. And Levi Shangzhen's explanation, obviously not understood by Huang Qiux. He was already staring at the other party with a dark face. The fists in his hands crunched and sat down. Lu Juhan on the side couldn't help but yell at this. Levi Shangzhen, you idiot. Don't think that with just a few kitchen knives you can deal with Qia Zhu, right? And he gladly admitted that. Means it's just minimum system insurance. It's just that the weapon I prepared is someone else's. That is, Emperor Wu and Emperor Cao. Do you think these two weapons are qualified? As soon as the sentence comes out, Huang Qiux's face suddenly darkened to the extreme. But Lu Shangzhen didn't seem to see it. Still talking to yourself from now on. If anyone dares to do something against my hospital, they will both be at some point in their lives silently dragged to hell. After all, father can't be healthy forever. Kankan's company with his children. The scene in front of him made Lu Juhan instantly disappear. He just kept cursing himself. But inside, he was afraid. Mosquitoes who are afraid of becoming monsters. I'm also afraid that he will die under Huang Qiux's fist. After all, in this world, no one knows his brother's strength better than him. However, Huang Qiux did not do that. He finally chose to give up. Qia Zhu, who has worked hard for many years, handed over to Lu Shangzhen. The only requirement is not to touch your own children. The man of steel. He eventually became a father. That's all. The end of the era of Huang Qiux and Lu Juhan. And Lu Shangzhen also smiled at this. Can't help but praise you for making a wise decision. And he wasn't satisfied. Instead, constant oppression created Qia Zhu, me and your father, as if we don't disappear from this world. He doesn't plan to stop. Go on like that. You and your brother obviously can't be at peace with each other. So Huang Qiux is as your grandma said. To protect you, I chose to leave. But Emperor Martial Emperor was very puzzled. Why didn't you tell me all this until now? Even if it's for atonement. After all, from a certain perspective, I caused you to lose your father. So I've been wanting you to meet your father. Because unlike me, you father and son can meet. Until this moment, Emperor Huang Wu just asked who he was the most. The answer you want to know. Do you know where that guy is? But he shook his head. I don't know the exact location, but I can roughly guess where he is. Because when Qia Zhu was still in the violent organization, set up some strongholds. It was originally intended as a follow-up for other organizations during their protests. Although we have multiple locations across the country. However, 5 of them, only Huang Qiux and I know where. And he must be somewhere in those places. After that, Lu Juhan, I told him the location of those strongholds. Please ask Emperor Wu to say hello to your father for him. Emperor Wu, who must know about this, did not choose to leave immediately. Instead, I came to Taiwang Mountain to write my diary because this is where the imperial state was established. It holds a big place in his heart. Can live to this day. Emperor Huang Wu, I always thought I was the year I was abandoned. So he never had a milestone in his life. That's why he thinks he can do whatever he wants. The reason for desire. That's right. The life of Emperor Huang Wu never felt any sense of responsibility or guilt, including the new incident of injuring the horse and his own father. Does it survive like this? Why on earth do I want to see him so much? Father was once king. However, he gave up everything. What is the reason? Made him make that choice. For the first time in Emperor Wu's life, he was confused. He really wants to know. However, there is only one answer. He had to leave for this. Just in the latest fight. Even Guo Jijiang noticed. One of Emperor Huang Wu, so he asked Park Siak-ha. Do you feel the beating sound of Big Brother Wudi? Become a little different. It was originally a feeling like this. But now, it's a party. Although Pashi did not understand what he meant, but he also saw it. Emperor Huang Wu has indeed become different. Recently, he has been obediently following the battle plan. Should not, he really plans to engage in that kind of national wandering. After Emperor Wu made up his mind to leave, he started to deal with what you should do as a gang leader. Although I really want to hit the road immediately, but he knew he couldn't do that. But it also puzzled him. Could it be that it is only now that the sense of responsibility has arisen? Finally, he couldn't help but complain in his heart. That's funny. And when Marjorie found out about it, and I rejected him in all seriousness, but Emperor Wu still chose to insist. He said he was only away for a while. You can come back in 2 or 3 months at most, but even so, Ma and Li still refused to agree. He is afraid that when the time comes, girls all over the country will pounce. Own boyfriend. Emperor Huang Wu couldn't help but complain. The only person who follows me all day is you, and not like my guy. It's just a man addicted to fighting. Hearing these words, Ma Heli was relieved. But he had a request. That's when you wander across the country. Be sure to tell me where you are at any time. Where are we going? Emperor Huang Wu was very helpless about this. However, he still agreed to the other party's request. So time flies. Finally, it was time for Emperor Wu to leave. He has no idea that he will. What kind of things will you encounter on the road? He doesn't know the end of it all. What awaits him? Just this morning, Marjorie went to the flower shop and bought a bunch of roses. But this is not for Emperor Huang Wu. And in the street, he passed by. There are 2 people with a student in Europe. Their expressions looked very happy. And there was this tall guy who was kicking the horse like crazy. The student who was beaten just covered his head with his hands. I can't help but shed tears from the corners of my eyes. He looked very bleak at this time. But Ma and Li still didn't stop. He arrived at the hospital. Walk into the ward of No. 321. The patient here is named Ma Shakson. It's the bouquet of roses in his hand. It was for him. Because this person is his biological brother. But when Ma Heli looked at it, she suddenly smiled. Aloud, he couldn't help but say to himself that the opportunity had finally come. This is the last challenge of Emperor Huang Wu. It's the gamble of life. He chose to believe in his brother. Think he can become a qualified king. And I'm not qualified at all. He just suffered abandonment. So I want to prove myself. And he went out of his way to win. Trample your opponent underfoot. To stand tall. However, he is not in this vortex of fate, after all. Find a way to prove yourself to me. That's right, Emperor Wu. I have no idea how to become a king. But if it's that guy, maybe get it all. On the day Emperor Wu left, Emperor Gang, all the members gave him a farewell party. And Guo Jijiang was crying. Obviously very reluctant. Just before leaving, he also uses both hands, deliberately compared with the loving action. This made Emperor Martial Emperor couldn't help but inquire. What a fuss. And Park Hot's reaction was different. He seemed very calm. This made Emperor Martial Emperor feel a little guilty. So he went to the other party before he died. For my personal reasons, this is what happened. But I'm not going to go against my instincts. So I had to go. Make sense of it. Not in the days I'm away. The Emperor State will be handed over to you. Questions about the battle situation, I will find out through Lion Jixon of the 3rd team. But Park Suk stopped him at this moment. 2 years ago, you were determined to bring down Yuan Yuan. It's your instinctive desire. I felt so appreciated. That's what gives you the power you want. But I don't know when. I'm on you. I don't feel that aggressiveness anymore. Come on, do you still have that thing on you? The atmosphere of this chat makes people around you feel very different. What were they talking about? I saw that Park Shi couldn't help but widen his eyes. Obviously a little shocked. I didn't expect this. The words will come from the mouth of Emperor Huang Wu. After all, as long as it is a man, you will have the ambition to stand on a high place. Standing tall. I can impress everyone. Then came a private chat. Let the tune fit shock again. This made the people around them look stunned. Desperate to know the answer. But after Huang Wudi finished speaking, he got on his motorcycle. Then he turned the accelerator without hesitation. Walk away. After a puff of smoke, there is only one stone river left in place. And Guo Jijiang went forward to ask the other party at this time. What were you talking about? Does it feel serious? About this question, Park Shi chose to close her eyes. After a moment of silence, he spit out 3 words from his mouth, go back. But he suddenly remembered something. Asked Guo Jijiang, do you know where Ma and Li are? And he answered that truthfully. It means that after Ma and Li talked to the gang leader in the morning, just go somewhere else. Meanwhile, the other side. Leave he listening with a middle-aged man. His face looked very indifferent. Just ask if the other party is ready. He was on the safe side. Repeat the location again. It's the 1130 Sunshine National Highway, right? Exactly. Emperor Huang Wu will be around that time. Then I wish it wasn't you. I almost had nowhere to take my revenge. But Ma and Li asked him if it really didn't matter. If you change your mind now, it's not too late. But the uncle touched his head like a father. My son joins that damn emperor list. When dealing with people at the construction site, hit by falling building materials and lost his head. I went to that guy to hold my life accountable. But he seemed very indifferent. Even enter. Wu's organization has someone like my son. At that time, I felt both frustrated and self-blame. If only I were a more promising one. If only my son's idol wasn't that bird. Inferior guy. It's me, so he won't be involved in that? Damn battle. Just pretend I'm hopeless. When you want to jump off a building to learn about yourself, you found me. And gave me a chance for revenge. So it doesn't matter. It's all set. I'm going to kill my son's idol today. Only then can I die in peace. Meanwhile, the other side. Ma and Li are staying in the ward to visit their brother. But he can't help but recall scenes from the past. I was bullied as a child. My brother will avenge himself. And this time I shot. That stupid emperor. Mother, I didn't even know I was your sister. She opened her heart to me. If you knew I was innocent, open this. Revenge will certainly not stand idly by. After all, you didn't often say that to me before. I won't let you be bullied. And I don't know why. He obviously made you into such a bastard. I was hoping that my uncle would change his mind. And so on, and so forth. Marjorie burst into tears. And he was talking with his legs. Kneeling on the ground. He didn't know why he was crying. Until he saw the letter that had fallen to the ground. Was attracted attention. Because his name is written in the lower right corner of the letter. So he picked him up. Ready to open it up? But just then, the nurse outside the ward came in to apologize. It must have been accidentally blown off by the wind. It was just yesterday. Someone asked me to pass this on to you. Man is a super big guy. The name seems to be the Emperor Mother. These words made Ma Heli feel very different. If that's the case, didn't the Emperor Mother know long ago? Ma Shaxin is my brother. At this time, Emperor Huang Wu on the other side hit the bus head on. But there was no trace of fear on his face. Because long before, he knew his own end. So he refused Lu Juhan's greeting to him. As for the idea, it also happened suddenly after hearing these words. He thinks the person who should be reunited with his father cannot be himself. After all, he lived his life too freely. Milestones are behind us. Yeah, maybe my game should end here. Meanwhile, on the streets, Park and Pudding are lost in thought. He didn't expect it. Emperor Marshal Emperor has always known. It's just so crazy. It turns out that Emperor Marshal Emperor before leaving, the words spoken to him stand tall. I can prove my existence to others. But as long as you still doubt yourself, I can't be king. That's it. Let the simple and feeling Huang Wu Emperor completely helpless. And he was right. Emperor Huang Wu has made up his mind. After all, power breeds violence. It also motivates others to take on the challenge. And this is probably the last challenge of his life. So when he rushed towards the truck, with a smile on his face, just because it was abandoned, So he wants to prove himself. And they fight to win. Trample your opponent underfoot. To stand tall. However, he was not in this vortex of fate after all. Find a way to prove yourself to me. Exactly. Emperor Huangwu had no idea how to become king. But if it's that guy, maybe get it all. And that person is own brother, Yellow Grass Girl. Since Emperor Huangwu disappeared for 2 months, led to Huang Debang's battle with the Federation. Gradually falling into martyrdom, even Guo Jijiang feels the trouble. But he still refused to give up. But because some areas have been connected, Confederacy takes away plus the tune of being the captain of the first team. The test box is unconscious. The morale of the members of the organization fell to the bottom. Every time they win, will pay a huge price. And Guo Jijiang also felt powerless. I hope Big Brother Wudi can come back soon. Waiting for the belated Lion Jixin. When you see the scene in front of you, can't help but laugh. It seems that the battle is quite intense. How can you be so tired? But these words aroused Guo Jijiang's dissatisfaction. Blame him for coming now. But even the district is very helpless. Because they were also raided there. But there were less than 30 of them. It should be the Federation for. Stop me from joining you. Cool means. But he wasn't finished. The Federation's reinforcements attacked again. And this time, the leader. It's Wu Yun's, who ranks 4th in the Federation. Even Ji Hoon had to admit it. The chief of staff of the Federation is really difficult to deal with. No time to rest. As for Guo Jijiang's thinking, it is completely different from his. The moment he saw the enemy, he wants to crush the opponent. But Lion Jixin stopped him. Tell Guo Jijiang not to be brave. Retreat first. Ki Guo Jijiang. I don't agree with Lion Jixin's suggestion. Because he thinks if it were the gang leader, he will never retreat. About this, even Jixin agreed with Guo Jijia. But the problem is that we are not him. Finish this sentence. Lion Jixin took advantage of Guo Jijiang before he could react. And I punched him in the chest. He was suddenly covered in inheritance. I couldn't help but swear. But the next second, he went soft and fell down. And Lion Jixin held his body. Carried him up. Then the order to retreat was issued to all members. After all, if this is the case, even Guo Jijiang fell, then the Emperor gang is really over. Meanwhile, the other side, on a speeding Maybach, Lu Shangkai fell into thinking. He didn't expect it. Huang Kaiman actually disappeared without a trace, since he was directly attacked by Wu Yun's. And he stopped moving. Why is that? Obviously, the organization has been in crisis. But why hasn't he done anything yet? What was he thinking? Why not take the next step? Even the housekeeper driving in front of him, they are all aware of the inheritance of the young master, so he couldn't help but mention it. Things aren't going well? Quite the opposite. Things are going so well. If this continues, achieving the goal is only a matter of time. But how to say? Playing chess alone always feels a little too boring. But this sentence has just been finished. A ringtone came from the phone. It was Wu Yun's who came. He is calling this time to report on the battle plan on the front line. Because everything is as he expected. After Guo Jijiang and Lion Jixin reunited, they fled. As for Kanazawa's words, he is being ruled by power and Li Kaimu. As long as Emperor Huangwu is not in danger, they're not going to break through that easily. After listening to Wu Yun's report, Lu Shangkai issued the last order. That is, to completely destroy the Emperor list. Meanwhile, the other side, Guo Jijiang just woke up from a coma. And Lion Jixin, I also told him about the current situation. Tell him not to be impulsive, hide for a while. But Guo Jijiang is very different. I think the other party is talking nonsense. If you do that, it means that the Emperor gang lost to the Federation. When the gang mainly comes back, how should we face him? But he wasn't finished. Interrupted by Lion Jixin, because he thinks the gang leader has abandoned the Emperor's castle. Hearing this swear word, Guo Jijiang was immediately struck by lightning, speechless for a while. At this moment, he only felt endless anger. So much to recall the scenes of the past. Let Guo Jijiang can't help but curse. Because he is.